Hmm. 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 Bertrand's paradox.
So I want to tell you about
That's a different thing.
In 1901, the English philosopher and mathematician Bertrand Russell discovered
Wow, it's got 8.5 million views.
a problem, a paradox, at the heart of mathematics and all of science. The
I wonder if Veritasium has
was a living legend, a hugely influential mathematician who had worked in does contain itself, that contain itself. Of all set 5 elements contain out is created, Hilbert. No one shall expel us from the paradise that Cantor has created, Hilbert declared. But in 1901, Bertrand Russell pointed out a serious problem in Cantor's set theory. Russell knew that if sets can contain anything, they can contain other sets, or even themselves. For example, the set of all sets must contain itself, as does the set of sets with more than 5 elements in them. You could even talk about the set of all sets that contain themselves. But this leads straight to a problem. What about R, the set of all sets that don't contain themselves? If R doesn't contain itself, well, then it must contain itself. But if R does contain itself, then by definition, it must not contain itself. So R contains itself if and only if it doesn't. Russell had found another paradox of self-reference, and he later explained his paradox using a hairy analogy.
Let me just see if I understand this.
Well, don't. It's straight to a problem. What about R, the set of all sets that don't contain themselves?
Okay. I mean, these are just like normal sets. First of all, what's an example of a set that contains itself? Like, that doesn't even make sense. What's an example of a set that contains itself?
An example of a set that contains itself is the set of all sets that do not contain themselves. However, this example leads to a
So there's no simple set that just contains itself?
That's right. The empty set is the only set that contains no elements. If a set has elements, even if it only contains the empty set as an element, it's not empty. So the simplest set with at least one element would be the set containing the empty set.
Wait, so is a set containing the empty set a set that contains itself?
Not exactly. The set containing the empty set is not itself empty. It has one element, which is the empty set. However, the empty set within it does not contain any elements. It's a bit of a nested concept.
So there's no simple example of a set which contains itself.
Right, a set containing itself would lead to a paradox. In standard set theory, a set cannot contain itself as an element. This is known as the axiom of regularity or found.
All right, so these are just like normal sets.
If R doesn't contain itself, well, then it must contain itself.
Wait, what?
But if R does,
Don't contain itself. Don't contain themselves. Come on, Wacom. Don't fail me now. You can do it.